My hands don't stop shaking. See them? How they tremble when I reach for the cup. That's not age. I'm 32. That's Avernus. That's what fighting in the blood war does to you. The burns on my arms, these black lines that look like lightning, those are from demon ichor. It doesn't wash off, doesn't fade. 7 years since I got out and they still ache when it rains. My name is Marcus Vale. I was a merchant once. Traded spices along the Sword Coast, had a wife, a daughter, a good life. Then I made a deal with the devil. Not a big deal, not sell your soul for unlimited power. Small, desperate. The kind you make when your daughter is dying and the healers can't help her, and a man in red offers you a contract in elegant script that promises one miracle for 1 year of service. 1 year, that's what he said. 1 year of service in the Lord Asmodeus's legions, and my daughter lives. I signed. She lived. I didn't know what 1 year means when Hell writes the definition. Hell's ledger, ledger of binding, entry tooth on 334th, 118. Marcus Vale, merchant. Material plane designation, Faerun. Contract term, 1 year of service as measured by Baator Standard Time, subject to temporal jurisdiction of the 9 Hells, wherein all chronological measurements derive from infernal authority. Clause 7, subsection 3, duration of service calculated at the discretion of commanding officers. Clause 12, binding persists across planar boundaries until formal release is granted by Zariel, Grand Duke of Avernus, or her designated proxy. 1 year in Hell is whatever Hell says it is. I served 7 years in the Blood War. Felt like 70. I saw things, did things, watched companions turn to ash, watched demons eat the living, watched devils, my commanders, calculate acceptable losses with the same expression I used to use counting coin. This is what it's like to fight in the Blood War. This is what happens when you sign a contract without reading the terms. This is my warning. Pour me another drink, and I'll tell you how Hell makes soldiers out of merchants. The transition was instant. One moment I'm in my shop, contract signed, daughter breathing steady for the first time in months. Next moment I'm standing on black stone under a red sky with a pit fiend staring down at me. New conscript, it said. Not a question. Its voice sounded like grinding metal. Mortal, weak, you'll die in the first charge. I couldn't speak, couldn't move. The air was wrong, thick, sulphurous, hot enough to burn my lungs, the smell of hot iron and rot. This is Avernus, the pit fiend continued. First layer of the 9 Hells. You are now property of the Grand Duke Zariel, commander of Hell's armies, defender of the 9, and the Lord Asmodeus's chosen general. You will fight. You will follow orders. You will hold the line against the abyssal hordes. I'm a merchant, I managed. You were a merchant. Now you're a legionnaire. 5th rank. Expendable. It gestured with one massive claw. 3rd barracks. Report to Legion Commander Balzaphon. Try not to die before they issue you armor. I stumbled toward the barracks, legs shaking, trying not to look at the sky. The sky was full of screaming. Not wind, actual screaming. Thousands of voices in the distance, battle sounds. The blood war, I'd learn, never stops. It just moves, ebbs and flows across the plains of Avernus like a tide of violence. The barracks were iron and stone. Inside 30 mortals like me, conscripts, debtors, people who'd signed contracts. A woman looked up, human, maybe 40, scars across her face. Fresh meat? I don't understand, I said. I signed for 1 year. 1 year, she laughed, bitter. We all signed for 1 year. How long ago did you sign? 3 minutes. Ask me how long ago I signed. How long? 4 years. Topside. 16 years down here. She held up her hands. The fingers were wrong, elongated, black at the tips. You spend enough time in hell, it starts changing you. We're not mortal anymore. Not really. We're in between. Tools. I stared at her hands. At what hell did to you if you stayed. I'm Kara, former soldier, signed up to pay off a debt. Thought I could handle it. She gestured at the others. That's Finn. Was a thief. Rold was a priest who made a very bad choice. Senna, she won't talk about what she signed for. What do? We survive. We hold the line. We die slow instead of fast. She pulled out a crude blade, handed it to me. Training's tomorrow. Battle's the day after. They don't waste time on mortals. We're the front line. Front line of what? You'll see. I saw at dawn. The Legion formed up in ranks, not just mortals, devils of every type. Bearded devils with glaives, bone devils with stingers, chain devils with their cruel hooks. Erinyes flying overhead, and at the front pit fiends, massive and burning, directing the formation with telepathic precision. We marched. The horizon was on fire, not metaphorically. Actually burning. Black smoke. The sound of battle growing louder. Legion Commander Balzaphon, a massive pit fiend with wings like a bat, addressed us with thoughts that hammered into our skulls, like a nail behind the eye. You are the shield. Demons will break against you. You will hold until the second rank advances. Falter and you betray the 9. Hold and you serve the law. Kara leaned close. Translated, we're meat shields. The real devils wait behind us. We absorb the first charge. How do you fight demons? You don't. You survive them. The enemy appeared over the ridge. Gods. Demons don't march. They surge. A wave of chaos and teeth and claws and too many limbs. Manes, the lowest demons, mindless hunger given form, screaming as they charged. Behind them, larger ones. Vrox, Hezru, things I didn't have names for. Thousands. The order came, hold. The demons hit us like a breaking wave. I don't remember the first 5 minutes. Just fragments. A mane clawing at my face. Finn beside me, stabbing wildly. Kara shouting orders. The smell, sulfur and rot, and something worse, something that made your stomach twist. I killed my first demon with a wild swing. It dissolved into ichor. The ichor burned through my sleeve. That's where these scars came from. The second demon bit into Finn's shoulder. He screamed. I stabbed it. It didn't die. It kept biting. Beside me, a new conscript. Couldn't have been more than 19. Froze. Completely locked up. A dretch was tearing into him. Kara moved to help, but a V-Rock blocked her path. The order in my head, hold position. I broke ranks, grabbed the kid, pulled him back, killed the dretch. Stay behind me, I shouted. I can't do this. You don't have a choice. Then the real devils advanced. The bearded devils cut through the demon line like scythes through manes, precise, efficient. The bone devils flanked. The Erinyes rained arrows from above. Behind them, more bearded devils moved through the battlefield under orders, collecting wounded conscripts, dragging them back to the second line. Not mercy, regulation. 47. The Legion wastes no assets. They pulled 3 bleeding mortals to safety and left 2 others who were too far gone. Cold, efficient. But some lived. Kara watched Marcus save the kid, watched him break formation to do it. She'd seen this before. New conscripts trying to be heroes usually got themselves killed. But Marcus lived. The kid lived. And that was worse, because now Marcus would think he could save people. Think there was room for compassion in Hell's war machine. Think individual lives mattered when you were surrounded by infinity. She'd thought that once too, before she learned that everyone you save just becomes another body to watch die. The demons didn't retreat. They never retreat. They just died. And more came. And more. We held for 2 hours, When the order came to fall back, half our barracks was gone. Finn was alive, barely. The wound on his shoulder was black, infected with something worse than disease. It's abyssal corruption, Kara said. Wounds from demons don't heal right. Can we help him? We report him. They decide if he's worth saving. They decided he wasn't. I watched them burn him the next morning. He was still breathing. Mercy, Balzaphon explained in our minds. Corruption spreads. One infected soldier cost 10 clean ones. The Legion is efficient. The kid I saved, his name was Tam, stood beside me, watching, learning what survival meant. That was my second day in the Blood War. You lose track of time in Avernus. There's no real day or night. The sky is always red, always screaming, always filled with smoke from distant battles. We fought every 3 days, sometimes every 2. Once we fought for 18 hours straight, fell back, slept for 4, then marched again. The battles blurred together, but some moments stayed sharp, like the day we lost Senna. We were holding a bridge over the river Styx. You know about the Styx? The river that erases memory. It flows through all the lower plains. Touch it, drink it, fall in. You forget. Not all at once, piece by piece. The demons tried to cross. We held the near side. Simple, right? Then a Vrock, big demonic vulture, 8 feet tall, dripping madness, grabbed Senna and flew over the river. "Let me go," she screamed. "Please, just let me go." It dropped her. She hit the water. Thrashed, gasped, water in her mouth, on her face. Came up looking at us with eyes that were starting to empty. Who are you?" Confused, scared. "I know you, I think. Where am I? What's my—" The Vrock swooped down, grabbed her again, flew away with her as she screamed questions in a voice that was forgetting how to form words. We held the bridge. Kara didn't speak for 3 days, like the day Tam asked me why I saved him. We were on watch duty. 3 weeks after his first battle, he'd survived 4 more. His hands didn't shake anymore when he held his blade. "That first fight," he said, "you broke formation. Could have been killed for that. You were going to die. So, we're all going to die here. Why risk yourself for me?" I didn't have a good answer. "Because it mattered," I said finally. "In that moment, saving you mattered." "Did it?" I looked at him, at his hollow eyes, at the way he'd learned to kill demons without flinching, at what hell had made him in 3 weeks. I don't know anymore. The Legion taught us strategy through repetition. Devils fight with precision, formation, discipline. Every soldier knows their role. Mortals, conscripts like us, form the first rank. We're expendable. We absorb the demon charge, tie them up, die if necessary. Behind us, bearded devils form the second rank. They're the real line. Harder to kill, stronger. They wait until demons are committed, then strike. Behind them, bone devils and chain devils form mobile units. They flank, they adapt, they hit weak points. Above, Erinyes provide air support and assassination. They target demon leaders, anything organizing the horde. At the back, pit fiends coordinate everything telepathically. They adjust tactics in real time. They calculate acceptable losses. They are the mind of Hell's war machine. It works. After a month, I understood the patterns. After 2 months, I moved in formation without thinking. After 3 months, I started to believe. The system made sense. The Legion protected us, not individually, but collectively. Formation kept you alive. Following orders meant survival. The hierarchy wasn't oppression. It was structure in a place where chaos wanted to devour everything. Maybe hell was right. Maybe law, even evil law, was better than infinite destruction. Kara saw me thinking it. "You're starting to believe," she said one night. We were cleaning weapons after a successful defense. We won today because we held formation, because we followed the plan. We won today. Ask me about tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll win again, if we stay disciplined. She looked at me with something like pity. That's what I said. Year 5. Then I watched Rold burn, watched Senna forget her name, watched the Legion calculate how many of us were acceptable losses. You want to know the difference between us and them? What? They don't care. The formations work because they're designed to work, but they work with us or without us. You're not a soldier to them. You're ammunition. But, and the worst part, she leaned close. You'll defend it. You'll start thinking like them, justifying the deaths, accepting the losses, because it's easier than admitting you're trapped in a system that only cares about itself. I wanted to argue, couldn't, because I'd felt it, that shift, that moment where burning Finn had seemed necessary, where losing Senna was acceptable losses, where Hell's logic made sense. How do you stop it? I asked. You don't. She went back to sharpening her blade, the sound steady, rhythmic. You just decide whether to become a devil or stay human. The worst battle was the Gorge of Endless Teeth. Demons poured through a rift in reality, not a portal, a tear, the abyss bleeding into Avernus. We held for 7 days, 7 days of constant fighting, no sleep, minimal rest. Healing magic rationed. The wounded fought until they fell. Rold, the priest who wouldn't talk about his past, finally spoke on day 5. I thought I was saving people, he said. We were back to back, fighting off a swarm of mains. I was a healer, a good one. Then a plague came. I couldn't stop it, so I prayed to anything that would listen. Something answered. It gave me the power to cure the plague. What was the cost? 50 years of service. I said yes, saved my whole village. Everyone lived. Then why are you here? Because the thing I prayed to, it wasn't a god, it was a devil. Plague was his from the start. He created it, then offered me the cure for the price of my soul. A dretch bit into his leg. He clubbed it away. I damned myself to save people who never knew they were in danger from the same being who saved them. That's how they work, Kara said. She was bleeding from a dozen cuts. Devils create the problem, then sell you the solution. 1 year, they said. 1 year, Rold echoed. There is no 1 year, I finished. On day 6, Rold fell. A Hezru, massive toad demon, covered in pustules, grabbed him, pulled him into its mouth. He was still screaming when it swallowed him whole. We killed the Hezru, found pieces of Rold inside. Kara tried to pull them out, tried to give him a proper death. Balzaphon stopped her. Leave it. We don't have time for sentiment. He was a person. He was a resource, one among millions. Grieve on your own time. On day 7, the rift finally closed. Command Calculus Gorge of Endless Teeth. After-action assessment engagement duration, 168 hours. Conscript mortality, 73%. Projected replacement cycle, 6 days. Devil casualties, 12 bearded devils, 3 bone devils, 1 Irenaeus. Within acceptable parameters. Demon elimination, 14,831 confirmed. Kill ratio, 47.1. Efficient. Strategic outcome, rift sealed. Avernus border maintained. The abyss contained. Tactical adjustment, increase conscript deployment to first wave engagements by 8%. Mortality acceptable if border holds. The Legion is satisfied. The war continues. On day 7, Tam died. The kid I'd saved. The one who'd asked if saving him mattered. A Baylor, massive demon wreathed in flame and wielding a whip, cut through our line. Tam was in its path. I tried to reach him. Kara grabbed my arm. Formation. We break formation. We all die. He's already dead. The Baylor's sword came down. Tam didn't even scream. His last look, confused, like he was still asking, did it matter? I held formation. We won the battle. Zoriel herself appeared, massive and burning, and declared our victory in the Gorge of Endless Teeth, a triumph of law over chaos. We'd held. We'd survived. We'd proven the Legion's strength. And all I could think about was Tam's face. It didn't matter. He died anyway. We all die anyway. That's when Kara snapped. She tried to desert. When the battle ended and the rift finally closed, Kara walked away from formation. Just walked. Into the wastes, toward nothing. Kara, I ran after her. What are you doing? Leaving. They'll kill you. I don't care. I'm done. I signed for 10 years. It's been 16. My contract is void. Contracts in hell don't work like that. I don't care. She spun on me. Her eyes were wild. I've killed things that used to be people. I've watched friends die. I've spent 16 years fighting a war that has no purpose except to keep itself going. I'm done. Where will you go? The Styx. I'll drink from it. Forget everything. Forget my name. Forget what I've become. Maybe forget is better than remember. Kara, please. An Erinyes landed in front of us, beautiful and terrible. Wings like blood, rope in hand. Desertion, she said. Return to formation or be executed. Kara drew her blade. The Erinyes was faster. Rope around Kara's neck, pulled tight. She choked, clawed at it. Her eyes found mine. Run, she gasped, when you get the chance. Run. The Erinyes dropped her body, looked at me. Will you also desert? No. Good. The Legion requires loyalty. She flew away. I stood there, looking at Kara's body, at my only friend in hell. And I understood something. We weren't soldiers. We were fuel, ammunition, thrown at the enemy until one side or the other ran out of bodies. And hell had infinite contracts. Infinite desperate mortals signing away years for miracles. Infinite fuel. I decided then I was going to escape, not desertion. That gets you killed. Escape. I met a demon that talked. Most demons are mindless, manes, dretches, their hunger with teeth. But the higher demons, the lords and generals, they think. We were clearing a contested zone, a field of black glass where something terrible had melted the ground. Found a wounded Glabrezu, four-armed demon, covered in spikes, dying from a dozen wounds. It laughed when it saw us. Little soldiers, little slaves of the tyrant. Balzaphon raised a claw to finish it. Wait, the Glabrezu coughed. I have information about the next assault. Demons lie. Yes, but I'm dying anyway. What do I gain from lies now? It grinned with too many teeth. You want to know why we fight? You fight because chaos is your nature. We fight because we're free. You serve Asmodeus. You march in formation. You follow orders. You're slaves pretending law makes you superior. It looked at me. This mortal, you trapped him with contracts. He dies for you, and you call us evil. The Legion serves order. Order protects the multiverse. Order protects Hell's interests. The Blood War isn't to save mortals. It's to keep us busy, to keep us from winning, to maintain the status quo. You think Asmodeus cares about the material plane? The demon laughed. Blood bubbled from its mouth. He cares about power, and as long as we fight you, neither side can grow strong enough to challenge him. Balzaphon killed it mid-sentence. Lies, the pit fiend said. Demons corrupt with words. But I kept thinking about it. Abyssal aside, the Glabrezu's last thought, dissolving. They still don't see it. This isn't war. It's mechanism. A great wheel grinding both sides down forever. Something older set this in motion. Something that feeds not on souls, but on the conflict itself. The wheel turns in Mechanus, in Sigil, in places angels and archdevils alike refuse to look. Both armies are fuel. Both think they fight for purpose. Neither knows they're components in a machine built to never stop. It took me 3 more years to find the way out. 3 years of fighting, of watching new conscripts arrive and die, of becoming numb to the screaming sky and the burning horizon and the knowledge that this was forever unless I did something. But the compulsion started earlier than that. Small things at first. We were in formation. Balzafon's command came. Adjust ranks. 3rd file, 2 paces left. I shifted left before I realized I'd moved. My feet obeyed before my mind caught up. Did you hear that? I asked Kara. What? The order, to move. Yeah, we all did. No, I couldn't explain it. That I'd moved without deciding to. That my body had responded to the telepathic command before my will engaged. Another time, resting after a battle. My arms ached. The burns from Demon Ichor throbbed. Then Balzafon's distant command to another unit. Hold the line. The burns on my arms warmed, just slightly, like embers rekindling. I looked down. They were glowing. Faint, red. You seeing this? I whispered. No one answered. No one else saw it. The binding wasn't just words on a contract. It was in me. Growing stronger the longer I stayed. That's when I knew. Even if I escaped Avernus, hell might not let me go. I found the way in the one place hell doesn't guard carefully. The Styx. The river Styx flows through all the lower plains. Avernus, the abyss, everywhere. It's a planar current. If you could navigate it, survive it, not lose yourself to its memory-eating waters, you could ride it out. I stole a piece of wood from a broken war machine, fashioned it into something that could float, waited for a battle near the river. The battle came. Chaos. Demons everywhere. The Legion spread thin. I ran, not away from battle, toward the Styx. Jumped in. The cold hit me first, then the pull, current like a fist dragging me down. I held my breath, held the wood, didn't let the water touch my face. Behind me, shouts. Irinye's diving. They couldn't follow into the Styx. Even devils fear its waters. The current pulled me under. I saw things in the depths. Memories that weren't mine. Lives dissolving in the flow. Souls screaming. My grip slipped. Water touched my lips. I forgot. My daughter's name. Tasted it again. My wife's face. Swallowed. Why I was running. No. I surfaced. Gasped. Held on. Remembered. Pieces came back. Slowly. The current carried me for what felt like hours. Might have been days. Time doesn't work in the Styx. Eventually, the river spat me out. On a muddy bank, under a gray sky, the material plane. I'd escaped hell. That was 7 years ago. I found my way home. My daughter was grown, 18 years old. I'd been gone 6 months to her, 7 years to me. She didn't recognize me at first. I'd aged, the burns, the scars, the hollow look in my eyes. Father. I held her, sobbed. She was alive, real, worth it. But the nightmares didn't stop. I still dream about Avernus, about the screaming sky, about Kara walking into the wastes, about Finn burning, about Tam's last look, asking if it mattered, about the endless, pointless, eternal war. Some nights I wake up and my hands are shaking, and I can't remember if this is real, or if I'm still in the river, drowning in memory-eating waters, dreaming of escape while hell feeds on my hope. The burns still ache when it rains. The scars don't fade. And sometimes, late at night, I hear orders in my head, telepathic commands, Balzafon's voice telling me to form ranks, to hold the line, to serve the Legion. I tell myself it's phantom pain, trauma. But the burns glow faint red when I hear them. And sometimes my body shifts. 1 pace left, 2 paces right. Small adjustments I don't decide to make. The binding didn't break when I left Avernus. It just went quiet, waiting. That's what keeps me drinking. That's why I tell this story. Not because I escaped. Because I don't know if I really did. The blood war is still happening. Right now, in Avernus. Mortals like you are signing contracts, desperate deals, 1 year of service. Seems reasonable. It's not. Hell doesn't fight fair. Devils write contracts with invisible clauses. 1 year becomes 10. 10 becomes 50. Time served at Hell's discretion. Binding persists across planes. And even if you escape, you never really leave. I'm proof. So if a man in red offers you a contract, if he promises miracles, if he saves your dying daughter, if he offers you everything you need for a price that seems small, don't sign. Whatever you're trying to save isn't worth what you'll become. Whatever you're trying to fix, find another way. Because the blood war doesn't end. It just collects more soldiers. And one day, you'll be sitting in a tavern with shaking hands and scars that don't heal, telling someone else this same warning. Except they won't listen either. Nobody ever does. Pour me another drink. And for your sake, for your soul's sake, don't make deals with devils. Because even if you survive, you never really escape. The war follows you home. I know because... A voice in my head. Only I can hear it. Clear, cold, undeniable, like a nail behind the eye. Report, Legionnaire. Balzaphan's voice, from Avernus, across plains, through time and distance, and the Styx itself. Report. My hands start shaking worse. The burns on my arms begin to glow. Not faint anymore, bright, red, hot, like they're being written fresh. Your leave is concluded. The Legion requires you. I stand, can't help it. My body obeys. The tavern feels far away. Unreal. My daughter is at home, safe, alive, because I signed. But the contract wasn't for 1 year. Clause 12, binding persists across planar boundaries until formal release is granted. No one ever grants release. Report, Legionnaire. I walk toward the door, 1 foot, then the other. I'm not deciding to move. The binding pulls. My arms burn. The sky outside. I can already hear it, screaming. Hell always collects.